Hello everyone. Here is a small tutorial on how to use the application Matt Touchbook for smartphone and tablet to take all advantages from it and see what it can really do. Matt Touchbook is more powerful than what might be assumed by its minimalist interface, so here are some tips that will help you. It might save your life. When you begin on a new page, there's not much to see. You can just go back to the notepad screen with the button in the upper left corner. To create a new expression, you have to touch the screen anywhere for half a second to open the creation menu. The creation menu allows to create equations and functions at the place you touched. If it happens that you opened it by mistake, you just have to touch anywhere out of the menu to close it. As soon as you create a new equation, a cursor appears in a red rectangular zone, and the keyboard is opened. Once again, if you wish to close the keyboard, touch the void where there's no expression, or push the keyboard closing button. To reopen the keyboard again, it is enough to touch a red zone, or a letter, or an operator sign in an expression. It will reactivate both the cursor and the keyboard. Red zones indicate missing parts. To be able to use equations afterwards, we will have to fulfill all the red zones. Now let's move on to more serious things. You can write polynomials very simply. You can omit to write multiplication signs when you write x then y. They are implicit, but they are there. The EXP button allows to write exponents. If it happens you made a mistake, don't panic. The undo and redo buttons in the upper right corner of the screen allow you to go back. To get the cursor out of the exponent, you have to use the right arrow on the keyboard. These two arrows allows to navigate in the whole expression. The same way, button SQRT, create a square root. The right arrow on the keyboard also allows to get out of the square root, and to continue. Square roots also have an optional exponent. You have to go back with the left cursor arrow to find it. The division button is going to naturally draw fraction, and will put the cursor in the numerator. Once again, you will have to use the right cursor arrow to move on to the denominator. Then again to move over the fraction itself. You can also put the cursor out of the fraction by touching out of the fraction, or anywhere, at any moment. It's up to you. You may have noticed that there's no brackets or parentheses on the keyboard. Yet, they are here. By example, if you wish to write a factor of two polynomials, you just begin to write explicitly the multiplication of the factor. Then you go back with the left cursor arrow on the first multiplier, and you write your first polynomial. Easy as pie. Then pass out the right, and write the second, but this time, you have to begin with the plus and minus signs, if not, it will be out of the second multiplier. To have parentheses under an exponent, it is enough to insert things at the end of its base, between the base and the exponent. If you insert factors before the base, it is considered out of the exponent, like a classic mathematic expression, so no parenthesis in that case. A few little tips to finish with writing. If your cursor is under a number, an unknown, or an operator sign, the division button will create a fraction under it, and will include what the cursor was showing as the numerator. The same way, if a cursor is under a number, or an unknown, any function button can include what the cursor was showing. We have noticed one of the more practical aspects of Matt Touchbook. Everything is going to resize and take its place automatically and smartly, whatever is the degree of complexity of an expression, or how many square roots, divisions, exponents are nested. Good, here we are. Yippee! Now we know how to write nice clear mathematical expressions. Let's learn to navigate in this page now. A single finger is enough to move the page. You can tap anywhere for that. You can also use 2 fingers to zoom in and out. You can get lost if you go away too far. Don't panic. The refocus button is always present at the upper right corner of the screen. It allows to automatically refocus the view on the expressions. The other practical aspect of this button is that it will refocus first the last edited expression. Then if you touch it a second time, it will refocus the whole page. Then if you touch it a third time, it will refocus the last edited expression again. And so on. Like that, we saw all the buttons. So now, we're going to have a look at the menus that are related to expressions. We have seen that it is enough to touch the screen half a second to open the creation menu. The same way, touching any visible expression or part of an expression will open a special menu with the features of that element. You can distinguish which element corresponds to the menu with its white rectangle. If you touch a number, an unknown, or an operator inside an expression, the menu that will open will have specific features. To select a whole expression, touch around the equal sign, or in the spaces around the equal sign. Elements menu also offers features for the whole expression, whatever it is, an equation or a function. Note that if there are missing parts, I mean the red zones, most of the features will not appear. You have to fulfill the red zones. When you understand how to select, how to open the menus, everything will become simple and intuitive. You will be able to explore the application by yourself and find the features that will fit your needs. Amongst the more commonly proposed features, there are copy, cut, and paste. You can perfectly copy a whole polynomial or parts of it, or the whole function or equation. Then, for example, you can insert that copy inside another function. Or then copy a complete function and paste it in another page of the notebook. It is possible to paste everywhere, even in the void. It's very handy. MathTouchBook is automatically going to adapt the layout. If you got to copy and then select an unknown, its menu will propose the Replace All X feature. It is very useful. It allows to do some function composition, which are not implemented in the app for the moment. Here is a small bonus. If you just select a number, and that number is not a prime number, its menu will propose to split it into prime numbers. If something can be simplified inside a selected set of elements, the menu will propose to simplify it. This is a very powerful feature. Simplification factorizes as much as possible, extract factors out of square roots and divisions. In short, choose the more simple and rational form. However, the simplification does not develop. The development is rightly proposed in the menu, if there is something to develop. Finally, there are the features related to functions and equations. The menu of an element inside an equation, as well as the menu of the whole equation, will naturally propose you to resolve it. You can perfectly use as much unknowns as you want into an equation. If you put more than one unknown, the result will simply appear parametrized by other unknowns. Quite naturally, you can find the transpose of a function using equation. Like this. Note that the undo-redo arrows allow to go back to the previous steps of the resolution. Now, let's have a closer look to the function menu. First of all, you can open a graph plotting the function. For this, it is necessary that the function has only one unknown. Graphs for 2 or 3 unknowns are planned for future releases of the application. Also, the function must not contain imaginary terms with I. Once the graph is opened, a special menu can also be opened thereon. It is possible to change its size, its frame, or to superimpose other functions. Finally, the function menu offers to display derivatives, as well as antiderivatives and integrals when it is possible. Note that the domain of the function is permanently updated below the function. It is not possible to write in it, or to modify it, but it is exported with the LaTeX export format. The same way, derivatives, antiderivatives, and integrals are going to be displayed under the function. Important: if you ask for an integral following a derivative, the integral will replace the derivative. To accumulate many derivatives and integrals, use the special menu from the sub-expressions already opened. Thus, they will not erase the previous ones. Note that exporting the functions as programming language functions will create one program for each function, derivative, and integral displayed. Derivatives and integrals can't be modified, but they can be copied and pasted as new modifiable functions. And we're done for functions. Now I'm going to explain the layout system. And that will be it. Again, this is very simple. You just have to touch the Move menu. As you can see, you can just exchange expressions by dragging and dropping them. You have to maintain the finger on the screen while moving expressions. The little black crosses allows to remove the expressions. Finally, a long touch in the void will stop that mode. Hey voila! If you specifically want other features, do not hesitate to contact the developers, writing in the comments. If you liked it, please share this video, because the application is brand new. Good mathematics!